Okay, this morning's reading is from Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 through to 10, and the page number's there, page 842. So it's the fourth vision. Then he showed me the high priest Joshua standing before the angel of the Lord, with Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. The Lord said to Satan, "The Lord rebuke you, Satan. May the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Isn't this man a burning stick snatched from the fire?" Now Joshua was dressed with filthy clothes as he stood before the angel. So the angel of the Lord spoke to those standing before him, "Take off his filthy clothes." Then he said to him, "See, I have removed your iniquity from you, and I will clothe you with festive robes." Then I said, "Let them put a clean turban on his head." So a clean turban was placed on his head, and they clothed him in garments, while the angel of the Lord was standing nearby. Then the angel of the Lord charged Joshua, "This is what the Lord of armies says. If you walk in my ways and keep my mandates, you will both rule my house and take care of my courts. I will also grant you access among those who are standing here. Listen, High Priest Joshua, you and your colleagues sitting before you. Indeed, these men are a sign that I am about to bring my servant, the branch. Notice the stone I have set before Joshua. On that one stone are seven eyes. I will engrave an inscription on it. This is the declaration of the Lord of armies. And I will take away the iniquity of this land in a single day. On that day, each of you will invite his neighbour to sit under his vine and fig tree. This is the declaration of the Lord of armies."
Just get myself ready here. It's on page 842. We're looking at Zechariah. We're going through the book of Zechariah. And so we're just going through it. And so each week, and this week we're up to chapter 3. Page 842. Do open it up because it'll be really helpful for you to follow along. Okay, we read it a few little while ago, so you might remember, but here it is, the fourth vision this week, and it's about a courtroom scene. You can see that there's a courtroom scene. Let me show you from the first verse. Have a look. Then he showed me the high priest Joshua standing before the Lord, with Satan standing at his right side to accuse him. A couple of things here show us this is a courtroom scene. It's talking about them standing. Joshua's standing, and so is the Satan. That's the other thing that tips us off this is a courtroom scene. It's literally, there's a definite article there in the Hebrew, I think. It's the accuser. I think there's a little footnote down the bottom that says that. The accuser. This is a courtroom scene, standing before the judge. You can imagine the courtroom with people as well. And so you've got this defending of oneself, this one who's accusing, the one who's being accused. And the high priest is there before the angel with Satan, the accuser, standing on the right-hand side. It's all a big courtroom scene. This courtroom scene is a window into us before God and into the reality of life and how it works. And the question I suppose we need to start with is, who is this person being accused, and who is this man Joshua, and what is the situation here? Well, look at verse 1 again. Joshua is the high priest. And now that's really important, because what does that mean? A high priest is someone who is representative of the people of God. So he's the high priest, he's the people of God, and he's before the courtroom, before God, representing God's people in the courtroom, right? Representing God's people before God. Now in Zechariah, the context, if you remember, was God's people had come back and they were told to build the temple. Do you remember? They were told to build the temple. And you'll have a look at the chapter verses just to remind you. Have a look at the one previously. It says the surveyor or the measuring line. We saw this last week. Just before that is the craftsman. There's all titles to do with the temple and to do with building. And so here it really underscores the importance of building the temple. God's people have come back and they need to get on with building the temple. Why? Because that's where God is going to come back. God's presence is going to be there. And what else do you need when you have the temple? You have Jerusalem, you come back, God's people have come back to God's place. They need to build a temple. That's where God is. And what you need in the temple? You need a priest. You need someone to go in and do the sacrifices. You need the sacrificial system. And what's really important is the high priest. He's the one who goes in to the Holy of Holies. He goes into the little bit inside the temple one day a year, and he makes the day on the Day of Atonement, and he does the sacrifice that wipes away all of the sin of the people to represent before God. And so this is who the person is who's coming before God in the courtroom scene, the high priest. The God's people had come back. They're going to build a temple because God is going to be there, and they're going to have a priesthood. They need a priesthood. They need someone to be offering sacrifices to God, to clean the people, to forgive the people, so that the people can come before God. And this is at the heart of the temple and the sacrificial system, with the priest offering the sacrifices. And here it is, Joshua, the representative before the people of God. But do you see there's a major problem? Do you see what the problem is? It's verse 3. We're on page 842, Zechariah 842, verse 3. Joshua is dressed in filthy clothes as he stands before the angel. So we have God's people who have come back and they've built the temple and they've got the sacrificials. But even if they've built the temple and even if they've got the sacrificial system ready, we have God's high priest, the one who is going to make atonement for people, and he's filthy. And you can look at the footnote if you like. It doesn't just say filthy, it's another word that's not really very nice at all. Maybe they've tried to smooth it over. Look at the bottom there, it says excrement. He's covered with it. The problem is that Joshua himself is the sinner. He is the high priest. How can he do the sacrifice? How can he cleanse God's people? If the person themselves is sinful, if they're dirty, if they're charred, as he says in verse 2, how can he do the sacrifice? All of this passage is trying to get across to us that all religions are the same in the sense that they build a temple, they build a place to get from God, from the people to need to get to God. And then we have a high priest that comes and does a sacrifice. In different cultures and different religions, you might have different sacrifices. It might look different, but all of it is the same and it all has the same problem. Joshua himself can't do the sacrifice. And what Zechariah is trying to get across to us is this very simple, true reality about ourselves. And that is that regardless of what we think, all of us stand before God. When it comes to the final end, when it comes to the final judgment, when it comes to the opening of the books and the weighing and the measuring, all of us deep down have this sense that we're not really acceptable, that we're not really appropriate. This is what this idea is trying to get across. It's getting across the idea of righteousness. Now, when I say righteousness, I don't know what you think of. Think of a legal justification kind of scene. That's fine, but it's about a relationship. It's relational, being right with God or being right with someone. And here, God's people are doing the sacrifice. They're being represented